Hey there, it is Jason for Quality. I am the owner and the sole technician of Quality Appliance Service in Collegeville, an independent, entirely independent, not a chain, not a brand, appliance repair company. And I am making this video, a series of videos to help folks like you that possibly own an LG refrigerator. And so right now I have a plan to make 3 short videos, hopefully around the 15-minute mark or less. 3 short episodes on LG. The first one being the most important, especially if you have a broke down LG refrigerator and you're trying to navigate through the web of mess that they lay for you. This video is going to be extremely helpful to you because I'm going to show you the specific steps you need to follow to navigate through LG's nonsense. It's not a clean escape, but at least you will know why what's going on is going on. So that's episode 1, help for those in need. Episode 2 is going to do a very careful examination of consumer reports and their recommendation process. And episode 3 is going to be a deeper philosophical explanation of the cost versus value of the appliance. I hope that you will tune in for each of those. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm here on LG's website, lg.com/French door refrigerators. And of course, there are lots and lots of what's called a call to action, getting you to purchase the refrigerator. Oh my God, almost $4,000 for this 28 cubic feet, smart Wi-Fi enabled, instant door-and-door refrigerator. Now, and I'm not going into the details of it, but if you purchased one of these and you think you've gotten all these great features, but then all of a sudden 6 months to a year into 2 years to up to 5 years, all of a sudden it stops cooling, most likely what has happened is you have a compressor and filter dryer restriction. So that means the Freon is not able to flow freely through the system, and it has caused a collapse in cooling. And this can happen incrementally, but it's very hard to detect unless you have your own refrigerator thermometers and you are monitoring the refrigerator temperatures, because it's very hard to detect changes until it's too late, i.e. it's 50 degrees in the freezer and 60 degrees in the fridge, and at that point it's all over with. But a lot of times this problem incrementally occurs. Now I'm going to show you my website. If you are in the Collegeville area or outside, that's about 35 miles west of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. If you are in Malvern, Phoenixville, Chester Springs, Pottstown, Skippack, those kind of areas, I can come out to your home and explain this to you as well. But I'm producing this video for everyone, and so rather than paying for a service call, this is not something I'm going to repair for you, largely because it's a problem that will recur and it's going to be a loser for you. So the customers that request it can get my newsletter, and this is what the newsletter looks like. I'm going to actually put a link to it. Every single page that I'm showing here is going to be linked in the description. I'm not going to cover everything in my newsletter here, but I just want you to see that in my newsletter that I send out to customers, it has this highlighted section that says LG refrigerator, not cooling, known issue. I see so many of the LG refrigerators that aren't cooling, that have the compressor problem, that I have determined on my own that this is a known issue. And this is an internal memo that I created to help customers because it's a complicated situation. And I tell you, when you spend almost $4,000 on an appliance like this one, it can be very heartbreaking. And because of that, because of the emotions involved, I have created this additional these additional tools for the customer to be able to, after the crying is over, after the rainstorm is over, to be able to analyze what their next steps are. And I think that's extremely important. But I do encourage you to have a good long look at this newsletter. I feel like it is well made. And because I don't sell appliances, all I do is repair them. And I repair them in a hope of helping people find peace of mind. My business, the entire business, operates on a singular mantra that kindness, human kindness, genuinely matters. And that we should be taking care of one another because we are our brother's keeper. And in this era of fraud that we live in, where the internet is being used to fool people, I feel like that the only antidote is actual people digging into things. And that's what I do, and it's because that's what I care about. But anyway, so the LG refrigerator not cooling. When they click on this link, and it is an active link, it brings up this page here. X that out of there. If your LG refrigerator is cooling only a little bit and the compressor is running, then you probably have this problem. Call LG first. And I won't read the entire thing, but I just want you to know that if your compressor or filter dryer has already been replaced once and it's happening again, it's the self-fulfilling prophecy it's the not self-fulfilling prophecy, rather it's what I've predicted is going to happen again. That this begins showing up around, it can happen about month 6. So 6-month-old, $4,000 refrigerator or $2,000 refrigerator, really doesn't matter. And that I've seen it up to about year 6 or 7, but it's this exact problem. It has to do with trying to make the appliance more energy efficient. I'm not going to go, and actually we're going to do a 4th episode in this series where I talk about and explain exactly what's going on in the minds of the producers of the appliance. Why are they making things so crappy? It's a little more complicated, and that's another thing that we want to unpack. But I want to keep these videos short and concise so that if all you want is the help to deal with an LG problem, and you don't care about consumer reports, you don't care about explaining the cost, and you don't care about that other stuff, that's fine too. Some people are just going to be concerned about consumer reports. They haven't had the issue yet. And some people are, I hope to catch people that are about to buy an LG refrigerator and they decide against it. I think that is where we vote with our pocketbook, and that's how we correct marketplace errors. But if the entire thing's a fraud and these things are all highly rated, but they're the poorest crap on earth, then people will continue to buy them, but they're buying them based on fraud, and the fraud's being able to persist for a number of reasons, and I'm going to go into that in later episodes. What I want to focus on here on this document, the LG refrigerator compressor issue, this is an internal memo that I provide to customers only, and I've decided to provide it to anyone that wants it, and it's going to be linked in the description. And essentially, the silver bullet or your secret weapon is option 2. And so essentially, step 1 is call LG, provide your model and serial number, say that you want to schedule service because your compressor is broke down. Now, there's one other issue that I see quite a bit with the LG refrigerators. If you have a situation where it seems like it has no power, the lights don't turn on, so when you open the doors, the lights don't come on, then that could be a control board. They also have a situation where a fuse on the control board fails, and you will need a new control board, but you won't need a new compressor. And in that case, you could contact an independent servicer or just replace the board yourself. But in any case, step 1 is to provide that information to LG. Step 2 is extremely important here. If they try to give you telephone numbers to contact authorized service companies or tell you to contact your own service company and that LG will pay for the repair, know that this is not going to work for you. Instead, request that they put you on hold and contact the servicer and schedule the repair on your behalf. This will ensure that you don't waste 20 to 60 minutes on the phone just to find out that the servicer that they gave the number to either doesn't exist or does not perform the repairs on LG refrigerators for warranty matters. This is so extremely important because I feel like part of the cycle of this fraud and scam is to keep the person that needs help cycling through a loop of frustration till eventually they jump ship and just put the LG refrigerator in a missile silo and launch it into space. And that's what they want you to do. They want it to end up in a landfill. They don't want to fix this problem. And to make them fix the problem, you have to prevent them from not doing their job. You have to prevent them from not doing their job. Right. I said that correctly. And what that means is, so a good bit of the time, and this is all information that I have gleaned from customers calling me after I tell them, well, you need to call LG. And they said, well, I did, but then they told me to call you, and we're not an LG servicer. Now, I service LG appliances out of warranty, but we decide what we work on, and we never accept payment from LG. That's kind of like the Wimby, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. LG will not pay us for the repair because we're not contracted with them. So when a customer service rep for LG says that, they are lying, and they're committing more fraud because it is their job, it is their appliance, it is their warranty that they promised to give you. It's their guarantee, and they're not standing up to their word, and you have to make them stand up to the word. If they give you phone numbers of large chains like Appliance Doctor, Mr. Appliance, A&E, it's best to not have them give you the number. Just say, hey, do you mind putting me on hold? Very conversationally. And you've got to lower the emotion. I know it's difficult. Very conversationally say to them, hey, do you mind putting me on hold because I don't want to get the runaround and I need to get this scheduled. And they put you on hold. And I said, would you mind conferencing me in so that I can make sure? And if you're conferenced in and they're talking to a service provider, that way you don't get lied to. And I would actually add one more thing to this this secret weapon here in option number 2, is that you should be, so if you have an iPhone and your wife or spouse, child has an iPhone or Android or equivalent, put your phone on speakerphone and then put a friend's phone, another phone on voice memos, and record the entire conversation. And that way, if something doesn't go right, you can play it back for them. It's like, well, I recorded the conversation, the entire conversation where you said this was going to happen. And that way you can use social media. If things get really bad, you can make your own quick little personal documentary that will hopefully affect people in such a way that they don't buy this product. Because the only way to fix this marketplace failure is for the people that have purchased the appliance to hold the seller of this fraudulent appliance, and that's what they are. It's complete fraud, to hold them accountable. So if you just throw it out and you go buy another one, not only did they get rich off of selling you junk, but they'll continue to get rich because no one's going to be able to hear your screams. I want you to hold them accountable, and to and so I've created this video to kind of encourage strength and persistence in those that are dealing with this issue. And I help people with this at least one a day. I'm talking to on the phone, and sometimes people schedule an appointment online, and I'm in their home sharing this information. And I feel like sometimes that's the best way, because you need to be sitting down, and it's almost like a class. So step 1, don't let them give you phone numbers. Make sure they call for you. Have them conference you in. In rare cases, they're going to just schedule an appointment for you, but a lot of times it's with a third-party servicer. You want to get the name of that company and the telephone number for them, because another thing that I have seen is that LG will schedule an appointment for you. You have to wait the entire day, and that for some reason you need to run out. You never hear a phone call. You never get any messages from them. And you need to run to the bus stop and pick up your kid, or you're jonesing for a cup of coffee, and you have to run out. And the 10, 15 minutes that you're gone, magically the technician shows up, and they don't call you, they don't wait, they don't do anything, and they're gone again. And then you have to wait another 2 weeks or something for them to come out again. That is also part of the fraud, and it's obfuscating and usurping your right to have this appliance repaired. And so make sure you spend a good bit of time on this option 2. Record the calls and make sure whoever the servicer is, you've been in contact with them. You have spoken with them. You have found out when they're coming, what the time window is, and that you have requested that they contact you in advance before arrival so you can make sure that you are 100% there. If you're, excuse me, my throat's been a little sore. The number 3 in this memo is the cost of the repair for you out of pocket is going to be between $500 and $600, depending on what market you live in. It's around $600. Here, it could be more in certain markets like Miami, Southern California, things like that. It may be far more expensive. And that is if you're outside of the 1 year. So they give you 1 year parts and labor. The compressor is covered probably for almost 10 years, but you still have to pay the labor for the compressor repair, so that's going to be $500 to $600 unless it's less than a year old. If the compressor is no longer under warranty, say it's a 7 or 8 year old refrigerator that only had a 5 or 6 year warranty, then the cost of the repair is easily going to be $1,500. At this point, it's better to just replace the appliance. So if it's out of warranty, if you've gotten 7 to 10 years out of it and you're having this problem now, my advice is to get a new refrigerator. If you've had this compressor issue and had it repaired even once and it's happening again, it's time for a new refrigerator. And it's so unfortunate because these things are so expensive. Brands to entirely avoid are Samsung and LG. I see lots of problems with Samsung refrigerators and lots of problems with LG refrigerators. Something you need to know as well is that Kenmore also is built by LG. So Kenmore is essentially LG. LG and Samsung are essentially the same company. They are built in the same facility in South Korea. They use the exact same parts, including the same compressors. Although for some reason, we see the issue with improper cooling with LGs more than Samsung's. We see very, very serious defrost issues with Samsung refrigerators. My advice is to get a Whirlpool or one of the Whirlpool brands. KitchenAid is the best Whirlpool brand. I intend to do a documentary short video on the consolidation of brands so that you have a better understanding. Once we finish this LG series, I think that I'll work on that. And now, most independents at the very bottom here in all caps, it essentially says that most independents like myself are not going to be willing to do this repair unless you pay us out of pocket. But even then, I don't want you to spend a ton of money on a repair that's going to be a loser for you in the long run. There's no reason, if you're selling the house, if you're leasing the house, that there's no reason you would do this repair more than once. If you have to do it at all, and you would want to go through their steps. And I know sometimes dealing with their servicers can be a challenge, but if you follow very religiously this option 2, it will help you. I developed option 2 directly from dealing with folks in the aftermath of them doing what I said, contacting LG. And then they call me back and they say, oh, they gave me this number and they did this. They did that. Some servicer was supposed to show up. I was gone for 15 minutes. They showed. They wouldn't come back. That is the epitome of really bad service. And to prevent yourself from being a victim of really bad service, you just have to stand your ground and recognize what they're doing, because it's all part of the psychology of the fraud. First, they sell you something that's worthless, and then the warranty and guarantee they provide, they obfuscate your ability to exercise your rights under that warranty. That's exactly what's going on. Hey, I am Jason for Quality. That's Quality Appliance Service. GetQAS.com if you are in the Collegeville area or it's the surrounding suburban PA area outside of Philadelphia. Please do give me a call or book an appointment online if you have an appliance that needs repaired. I do work on all your kitchen and laundry appliances: washer, dryer, dishwasher, range, refrigerator, stove, wall oven, over-the-range microwave, and with good service call rates, we waive the service call with a completed repair. You can book your appointment online at getqas.com. Thank you very much.